Grand Rising family, this is another new Black World Order TV Productions. Chopper. Yeah, family, let's get it in. This is part 4. You feel me? We're going to, like I said before, we're going into the numerology here today. Again, we have the first 7 Fibonacci numbers, right? The sequence of 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13, right? And this is going to become important when we talk about the significance of the number 7, right? This also sequence is going to be important when we square off the 112 to get that 114. And then we're going to go into the 5th Fibonacci number. We're going to square that off, right? Because it's a 5. It's also the 5th number, right? It's a 5 and it's also the 5th number, right? So let's get it in. We're talking about these 5 dates and their connections to the number 114 and the number 19. And we're talking about the number 7. So the Quran is inundated with a mathematical repeating, right? A succession of codes of 19:7, all contained within those 114 surahs. So let's get it in. We know that the Fibonacci sequence was or these numbers were introduced long before Fibonacci, but like I said before, Fibonacci is the poster child, right? In the West likes to claim things for themselves, right? So we know that 1 plus 1 is 2. We know that 1 plus 2 is 3. We know 2 plus 3 is 5. We know 3 plus 5 is 8. 5 plus 8 is 13. And it goes on. 8 plus 13 is 21, right? And 21 plus 13 is 34. It goes on to infinity in a spiral, finding itself in a golden ratio, right? So we know that the golden ratio, again, is used in the building of temples, paintings, octaves and music, etc. It is a pattern of life. It's a pattern of nature observed by our ancient ancestors long before there was Christianity, Judaism, or Islam. Right. So let's get it in. We're dealing with those first 3 numbers that we squared off. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4, bringing us to the number of surahs in the Quran. Right. So the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5th number, right, in this sequence is the number 5. And if we square that off, 5 times 5 is 25. 25 is a reflection of 52. Right. So let's get it in. 114 times 5 equals 570. We got the 114 from the 112. We got the 5 from the 5th number. And we multiplied it by that. And we got 570. AD, our first date. Everybody say check, check. Right? So when we squared off, right, the 5th Fibonacci number, 5 times 5, we got 25. When adding that to the 570, right, we got the number 595, right? Muhammad was born in Mecca in the year 570 AD. He was married at the age of 25 to Khadijah. She was 40, right? So let's get it in. Since 25 is a reflection of the number 52, when we add 52 to 570, we get 622, the Hijra. The second Hijra, which is the mark of the first year of the Islamic calendar, 622 AD, which is a reflection of 226, right? 226, since 622 is a date, is 226 referring to a date and a birth of something? Of course, the Nation of Islam should see this number and see the significance of 622 reflecting 226. February the 26th. The 57th day of the year, right? Farad was born in 1877, right? So this is what we're dealing with. We see that these dates are tied to these Fibonacci numbers, right? And when squared, certain numbers take us straight to certain texts, certain dates, certain events in time, etc. Because this is, as Elijah Muhammad said, the theology of time, right? It's the theology of time. And our people, were in the time, they were in the know, and we were robbed, right? We fell asleep, right, to this word that we have here. We forgot the word. We were masters that forgot the word, right? So we want to talk about also Beit el Hakim, or the House of Wisdom, that was developed around the 7th and the 8th century. This is a mimicking, again, just like the Muslims, circumambulate around the Kaaba 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times in this spiral effect that the Fibonacci sequence produced in nature, such as tornadoes, wind currents, whirlpools, the pattern of flowers as they grow, seashells, pine cones, pineapples, different things of their nature, sunflower seeds as they spiral around the center of the flower, and arrangements of numbers that come out when you work this out. You can go and continue on into infinity and find those numbers represented in nature, right? So our ancestors understood this long before there was an Adam and an Eve, before there was a Judaism, a Christianity, or an Islam, right? So Beit el Hakim was developed in the 7th, 8th century. This is after 570. Remember in the last video, we have a Surah Academy being developed in this same area here, Baghdad, right? Babylonian area, right? We had the Babylonian Talmuds. Could we in fact call these the Babylonian madrasas, right? Because they were founded in the same area, and we're going to connect. We're going to connect this number, 114, that we got from these first 3 numbers to these 3 letters, right? Those first 3 numbers to those 3 letters, right? So let's get it in. When we look at the translation movement, right, that took place, right, among the Jews earlier in their Talmudic times, and even the Abbasids, right, they had a Persian bent to them. They had also a translation movement, right? The Greeks had a translation movement. But the point becomes, whose knowledge are they translating into their narratives and taking it as their own? It's yours. It's your ancestors, black man, black woman, and black child. Math is yours, and you loved it so much that you gave it to the world. But the point becomes, knowledge is a curse or it's a gift. Math is a curse or a gift. So we got to get back into the gifts. We got to get back into the talents. We got to get back into that which is embedded within our DNA, which is this pattern here. This pattern. We got to get back to that which we lost, that lost word, right? So I also want to look at what's sitting over top of Beit el Hakim. What's sitting over top of the 114? We see Aleph, Aleph, Beth. Beth, Aleph, Aleph. Abba school, right, which is the synagogue, is sitting over top of the Christian and the Muslim, right? Over them is one word with 9 letters. Remember in the 74th Surah, Ayat 30, it says over it is 19, right? And we identified, right, that one word with 9 letters produced the number 114. And that word is synagogue, right? We take the letters. S is a 19, Y is a 25, N is a 14, A is a 1, G is a 7, O is a 15, G is a 7 again, and U is the 21st alphabet in the English language, and E is the 5th, bringing us to the number of 14. Over it is 19, right? Over it is a synagogue, right? One word, 9 letters. 1 letter, 2 letters, 3 letters, 4 letters, 5 letters, 6 letters, 7 letters, 8 letters, 9 letters. Synagogue is one word, 9 letters, bringing us to identify the 19 that's over top of it, right? Now, we're going to link, right, this 114 to the word bab. And the word bab, as I said before, means gate, right? Entranceway, right? So let's get it in. If we take the word 114, right? O is a 15, N is a 14, E is a 5, H is a 8, U is a 21, N is the 14th, D is a 4, R is a 18, E is a 5, and D is a 4, bringing us to a total of 108. So let's continue. F is a 6, O is a 15, U is a 21, R is a 18, T is a 20, E is a 5, E is a 5, and N is a 14, bringing us to a grand total of 212. That's Beth, Aleph, Beth, or Ba, Aleph, Ba, or B-A-B, Bab. Bab means gate. G is a 7, A is a 1, T is a 20, and E is a 5, bringing us to a total of 33. Remember, we use these three letters to link to these, right? That squared us off to these. 3, 3, 3, right? So we knew that we got the 114 from squaring off 112. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 times 2 is 4, right? That brings us to that 114. 114 is the squaring of the number 112, which is a reflection of 211. And when we identified 114 and took the letters and the numbers attached to them in the English language, it gave us this number: Bob, Bab, Gate, 33, right? And over Beit El Hakim, over the Christian and Islamic world is 19, right? Guardians, right? One word, 9 letters, synagogue. Okay? And remember, we got the number 114 from that 112 out of those 7, or the first 7 Fibonacci numbers. And here's the kicker. I said this is where it gets quite funky, right? When we add up the first 7 numbers of the Fibonacci sequence, 1 plus 1 is 2, right? 2 plus 3 plus 5 plus 8 plus 13 equals 33 again, right? So what we want to identify is what's really going on. What's really going on here when these people have perverted our people's math and their codes, right? And took them and encrypted them into a Jewish text that has influenced Christianity, influenced Islam, right? In fact, the Jew is the master of the religious world, specifically Christianity and Islam. Islam in the Quran and Christianity are all products of Judeo thought. The Jew sits at the top, right? And he has tried to tell us that embedded in nature, that nature has chosen someone, right? That they are the chosen people. I herefore reject that any deity that wants to say that Jews are chosen over all people and they should be treated as such because of their text, when their text is embedded with our people's codes. Their texts are embedded with our people's mathematics, right? And I have shown beyond a shadow of doubt, right, that I clearly understand what the number 19 means, right? One word, 9 letters, right? Since 1 plus 1 is 2 and 2 plus 4 is 6, let's multiply 6 times 19. We get 114. Okay? Since the number 19 is mentioned in the 74th surah in the 30th ayat, 19 times 30 is actually